It is now 50 years since Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche and Akong Tulku Rinpoche co-founded the first Tibetan Centre in the West, in the rolling hills of southern Scotland. These 50 years have given us much to celebrate. Locally, we have had 5 decades of continuing growth at Samye Ling, and internationally, the development of Akong Rinpoche's spiritual, humanitarian, and therapeutic works in 4 continents, bringing benefit to the lives of tens of thousands of people. In 1967, the 2 Rinpoches named their centre after Samye, the first successful Buddhist establishment in Tibet. They were soon joined by master artist Sherab Palden Biru and the monk Samtin. By 1970, Trungpa Rinpoche had departed for the USA, and His Holiness the 16th Karmapa firmly encouraged Akong Rinpoche to take a leadership role in developing Samye Ling. The early 70s saw a progressive strengthening of Buddhist practice, with visiting courses being given by Thai, Burmese, Japanese, and just a few Tibetan teachers. The second visit of Chabje Kala Rinpoche in 1974 was an important milestone. Accompanied by 5 lamas, fresh out of retreat, he gave the first formal Vajrayana empowerments in the West, and the distinctive Tibetan sounds of Jaling and Radong first rang across the Green Valley. He inspired many people to begin traditional Kagyu practices. The next milestone came soon afterwards with 2 visits by His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. On the second visit, he was accompanied by Jamgon Kongtrul Rinpoche and a party of 12 Tulkus, lamas and monks. His Holiness performed the Vajra crown ceremony and gave empowerments and teachings. Most significantly, he assured Akong Rinpoche about the longer-term future of Buddhism in the West and at Samye Ling. This became the basis for developing the Samye project to cater for the future demand he foresaw. It seemed very ambitious at the time, but not so with hindsight. The Karmapa's visit also saw the establishment of our first international branches in Belgium, Spain, and in Ireland. What seemed to be his playful joke in 1977, as he ruffled Akong Rinpoche's frizzy hair and called him Africa Lama, turned out also to be full of foresight, as Rinpoche several years later became the Karma Kagyu representative for Africa, as Kagyu Dharma developed there. During the late 70s and early 80s, Samye Ling benefited greatly from being the major Kagyu centre in Europe and one of the very few Tibetan centres in the West. Some of the most eminent masters from the Kagyu tradition came to stay for periods of several months, giving them the time to teach in detail major Buddhist texts and practices to an international audience. We were particularly indebted to the regular visits of the Chamgon Khenchen Tai Situpa, Khenchen Trungpa Rinpoche and Khenpo Dzogchen Jamso Rinpoche, and also to the Goshir Jalsapa for his long stay in 1983. Nowadays, such eminent teachers have so many centres worldwide that their visits are counted in days, not months. We were also deeply honoured by the visits of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, His Holiness Sakya Trinzin, His Holiness Dingo Chensei Rinpoche, and Kamtrul Rinpoche. The overriding theme of the early 1980s was the construction of the temple, with all the work being done by members of the community, which grew considerably in size and talents for the purpose. Under the direction of Sherab Palden, our resident artists and craftspeople produced all the images, carvings, paintings, and decorations that are now so admired in the new temple. At the same time, the first long-term retreat started, Trungpa's humanitarian work grew, and the Tara therapy started to evolve. 1988 was a key moment. The Samye Temple was inaugurated, and the first 4-year retreat was successfully completed. Lama Yeshe Losal Rinpoche, who had come here on a brief visit from his long solitary retreat in America, stayed on at Akong Rinpoche's request, first in continued solitary retreat, and then as resident master for the second long retreat that began in 1989. Since Akong Rinpoche spent more and more time on humanitarian work in Tibet throughout the late 1990s, Lama Yeshe Rinpoche kindly took an increasing responsibility for running the center and enthusiastically built up the monastic Sangha, developing Samye Ling as a unique experiment combining monastery, nunnery, and lay community. Lama Rinpoche became abbot of what was now known as Samye Ling Monastery, and on the occasion of his 60th birthday received the title Rinpoche for his vast Dharma attainment and activity. Throughout the 1980s and 90s, Vajradhara Chamkwan Thai Situpa was extraordinarily kind and generous in visiting Samye Ling. In response to Akong Tulku Rinpoche's earnest request, from 1989 through to 1997, Situ Rinpoche gave the Mahamudra transmission emanating from the Saraha tradition of Mahamudra, and taught in detail from the Ocean of Certainty text by the 9th Gyalwang Karmapa. Thus, the greatest masters have transmitted the very essence of the Kagyu teachings here, and Samye Ling continues to be a place where the ancient wisdom of the Buddha's teaching is both preserved and made available to a new world. In 2007, we celebrated our 40th in the spirit of never forgetting the essential points behind the spiritual, humanitarian, and therapeutic activities that have grown out of Samye Ling. These are to accomplish whatever we do in a spirit of loving care for all beings that stems from the boundless heart of compassion. To help all beings discover that it is in serving others that they best serve themselves, find happiness, and fulfill their own life potential. To promote a message of peaceful coexistence and taking full responsibility for our precious human lives, and to preserve and share the precious jewels of the wisdom and meditation teachings which had been so well preserved in Tibet. Between 2008 and 2012, all energy and resources went into building the final 2 wings of the Samye project. On completion, the new buildings became home to the reception and administration offices, amongst other things, changing the administration focus of Samye Ling from Johnston House to the temple complex. In addition, they housed a state-of-the-art 300-seater lecture hall for conferences and big events. Then, on 8th of October 2013, our founder Akong Tulku Rinpoche died in tragic circumstances in Chengdu, China. Although this stunned his many followers, with the guidance and inspiration of Akong Rinpoche's brother and regent, Chögyam Lama Yeshe Losal Rinpoche, Samye Ling continues to develop and flourish. Kagyu Samye Ling is currently under the spiritual direction of His Holiness the 17th Gyalwa Karmapa, Ojen Drodol Tunle Dorje, and the Vajradhara Chamkon Kentin Tai Situpa. We are deeply grateful for their continued and inestimable support. The next major milestone will certainly be the visit of the Gyalwa Karmapa, and we look forward to it with great joy and eagerness. This short overview is to help us to recollect with gratitude all that has contributed to our 50 years of growth. to appreciate the kindness of the Buddha in giving his profound teachings, and of the Tibetan masters who have skillfully presented them here. Kagyu Samye Ling is located in the south of Scotland in the United Kingdom. It's about 2 hours drive from Glasgow and Edinburgh, in a quite isolated area of hills and beautiful countryside that reminded Akong Rinpoche and Trungpa Rinpoche of their native Kham in Tibet. Our daily schedule here at Samye Ling starts at 6 o'clock in the morning with the Green Tara Puja. Then we all have breakfast. Then from 8 o'clock we have silent meditation. In the afternoon we have the protector prayers, Mahakala. And finally in the evening we have Chenrezi Puja at 7 o'clock. There are 3 meals a day here. Much of the food is provided from our own garden, and it's all organic. And the meal times are breakfast in the morning, then we have lunch at 12:30, we have soup in the evening at 6 o'clock. There are facilities for people to stay at Samye Ling, from fairly basic dormitory accommodation to very nice, comfortable accommodation at the other end of the spectrum. And anybody is welcome to come and visit Samye Ling, and to stay here, to join in with the pujas that we do or the silent meditation. And we would love to see you here.